Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Championship predictions for this weekend's games. The international break is over, Sophie, and that's it. No more international breaks until the season ends.
Happy days. I hate it.
It's the final stretch of the season now, guys. Do make sure to get your predictions down below. Do make sure to drop a like. We go for 307 likes on this video. Do hit that thumbs up button and do make sure to subscribe. The target is 30k by the end of May. Let's get into these predictions, starting with Friday night's game. It's Burnley versus Sunderland. This one should be interesting, Soph. I like both these teams. Obviously, Burnley are obviously in their own stratosphere. They're top of the league. And last time out, they actually played in the FA Cup and they got pummeled by Man City 6-0. What an idiot I was, going for a Burnley win there. But surely I'm still going to go for a Burnley win here because they're back in Championship action and they are cruising. Sunderland, last time out, all those weeks ago now, did get a 1-1 draw against Luton, but it was a questionable penalty. I'm going to go for Burnley to get back to winning ways. I'm going to say quite comfortable. I'm going to say 2-0 to Burnley.
Yeah, I'm tempted to agree. However, I do see Sunderland getting on the score sheet with this. I agree that was a very questionable penalty because it was not a penalty. Like, looking at it multiple times, just not a penalty at all. So I think Luton were hard done by in that one. I do see them rightfully scoring in this one, but Burnley are just, as you say, a league above in the Championship anyway. And for me, they're going to win 3-1.
3-1. Oh, you're getting quite comfortable. Okay. Next up, we've got a couple of derbies at lunchtime. And first up, we've got Luton Town versus Watford. This one should be interesting. I'm sure both fans will be right up for this. Watford come into this, obviously, with Chris Wilder as the manager. He's only had a few games. It's not really been the perfect start. And we did say he needed to hit the ground running. So their chances of the top six are still there, but they're not as strong as Luton Town, who are obviously fourth. And we said about that draw against Sunderland, they really should have won that game. It was a questionable penalty. I know Watford beat Luton 4-0 at Vicarage Road, but I think times have changed and Luton will want a bit of revenge. I'm not going to go for a heavy win, but I'm going to go for a Luton win. I'm going to go 1-0 to Luton Town.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think it's going to be a Luton 1-0 win. I do see it being a tight game. I think Chris Wilder is going to do an alright job at Watford, but I think the expectations are quite high with Watford and they should be finishing in the playoffs, and I don't see them doing it, to be honest. Luton Town, I think they're going to feel hard done by in their last result before the international break, and I think they need to bounce back with the 3 points. And I agree, I see them doing it 1-0.
1-0, okay, interesting. We'll go on to Deepdale. It's Preston North End versus Blackpool. This is always a big game, and can Blackpool get a much needed 3 points? Preston sit mid-table. They've been pretty good on a whole recently. They did get pummeled by Middlesbrough quite recently, but they've been pretty solid. I think they'll be in and around mid-table. I think if they could crack into the top 10, that'd be great. But Blackpool certainly have a lot more to play for. They're in that bottom three. They had that great win against QPR, and then Coventry City brought them back down to earth. Do you know what? Yeah. Up until Coventry really took control, I thought Blackpool were quite dangerous going forwards. Yeah. And with them having a lot to play for and maybe thousands of fans descending on Deepdale, I'm going to go for a bit of a surprise 1-0 Blackpool.
Oh, no, I'm going to sit on the fence and say a draw, and I see it being like quite a tasty game, to be honest. I think both teams need the points here, more so Blackpool. And I think they're going to make it a really difficult game. And I see a draw playing out, so 1-1.
1-1. Okay, interesting. We'll go on to St Andrews next, where Birmingham City take on Blackburn Rovers. We're getting a few of these games now where there's one team with certainly a lot more to play for, and that team in this game is Blackburn Rovers, who want to hang on in there in that top six. They went out the FA Cup to Sheffield United, so they've got 9 games to secure their Championship playoff place. And they're up against Birmingham, who, as I say, I don't think have a lot to play for. I don't see Birmingham City going down this year. They'd have to be very, very bad now to get sucked down. I think Blackburn will edge this game. I'm going to go for Rovers to win 2-1.
I'm actually going to go for a draw here. I think Blues going into the international break off a win. That's good for them. They need the points. Again, Blackburn, they need the points for this playoff push. But for some reason I see a draw playing out, so I'm going to say another 1-1.
Really? You're going 1-1?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go on to Bristol City, who take on Reading. This is an interesting matchup. Bristol City, I don't think there's all too much to play for them, but it'll be interesting to see how motivated they can be in these final couple of weeks. Maybe if they can climb the table and finish in and around the top half, that'd be great, but who knows, we'll see. Reading, meanwhile, it's not been great for them recently, and when I do watch them, I don't actually think they're a very good team whatsoever. They've got one or two individuals that are okay and one or two experienced players, but I just don't think they're a very good team collectively. They should be able to stay up this season unless there is to be a points deduction. I don't know. I think Bristol City will win this game. I just think out of the two, they're a better footballing side. I'm going to go 2-0 Bristol City.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1. I see it being a little bit of a tighter game. Bristol City, to be honest, just looking at them, are the better team, and being at home, I'm going to have to edge them. So 2-1.
Here we go then, it's the Welsh derby next. It's Cardiff City versus Swansea City. It's derby weekend here in the Championship, and this is a big game because Cardiff City frustratingly took the lead at Rotherham. They were winning going into the second half, and then they didn't get any points from it because the game was abandoned, and it leaves them still hanging above that bottom three.
They'll be gutted about that as well.
Honestly, there's got to be serious questions asked there, especially after the way it was done. But Cardiff will want to go back to winning ways, but they're up against Swansea, who did end the last streak of games with a win against Bristol City, and I know their season has not been particularly scintillating, which sometimes we're almost expecting quite a bit of Swansea because of the way they play football, but they're just not delivering this season. But I'm going to go for them to get a big win here. I'm going to go Cardiff 0, Swansea 1, which puts the cat amongst the pigeons and leaves Cardiff in the mess.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to go the other way. I think Cardiff, they should be awarded the 3 points for that because that was really strange by Rotherham. Swansea, very, very inconsistent, and that's why I think they're going to back up a win with a loss against Cardiff. So 1-0. 1-0.
Okay, on we go to the promised land. The CBS, Coventry City take on Stoke City. I'm looking forward to getting to this. Feels like it's been ages because I didn't go to any games in March with all that's been going on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Coventry City have been fantastic. 9 games unbeaten, and that most recent one, the 4-1 win against Blackpool, was amazing. It's made us really believe, especially in the same weekend Millwall lost. So we're 3 points off that top 6, and we could go into the top 6 this weekend if we win and the other results go our way. Stoke City, though, we've got to give them a mention. They've been really good lately. I mean, they're mid-table, but they're taking points off teams that have got a lot to play for, so they could do that against Coventry here, and I really don't think a draw would be enough. I think Coventry have got to win this one. We do have a good record against Stoke City, but as I say, they've improved, so I don't think they'll make it easy, but I am going to back Coventry City to grind out the win. Everything's positive. Ben Sheaf signed a new contract. Hopefully there'll be loads of fans there. 1-0 Sky Blues.
Yeah, I won't lie, I'm absolutely gutted to miss this, but I was at the Blackpool game and that was just unreal. That's got to be up there with one of the best games. Stoke are coming into this in a pretty good run of form, to be honest, before the international break, that is. But then so are Cov. So yeah, I'm going to be biased as well. I'm going to back us to win. However, I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. Stoke have been scoring goals, and I do see us conceding this one. But we're going to win 2-1. 2-1.
It's 2 form teams. You know, it's a really big game.
Yeah, it is.
Next up, we have got a massive game at both ends of the table. It's Huddersfield Town versus Middlesbrough. Maybe, just maybe, Huddersfield Town have given themselves a chance. They've picked up 1 or 2 draws here and there and a great 1-0 win away at Millwall. No one saw that result coming. And Huddersfield are taking on this high-speed train in Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough do look unstoppable. The way they're going and, you know, everything about them, Akpom, Carrick, I could see them winning loads of these final games and getting into that top 2. They've got to keep it going. They've really got to hope the international break hasn't slowed things down for them. I think Huddersfield have improved. I think they've got a chance of staying up, but this is a massively, massively difficult game. I'm going to go Huddersfield 0, Middlesbrough 2.
I'm going to say 4-0 Middlesbrough.
Whoa.
And that sounds really harsh after Huddersfield picking up a really good win. But I just feel like on their day, Huddersfield can be a really poor team and coming up against a really good team in Middlesbrough. So I just see them absolutely rolling them. 4-0.
4-0. Okay, fair enough. Next up we go to Hull City, who take on Rotherham. Rotherham, as I say, that game against Cardiff was postponed. They're also not a million miles above that bottom 3, and they've got a very tough run of games here coming, so Rotherham will want to try and pinch something from a Hull City team that haven't been in great form and don't actually have all too much to play for, but I still like Hull City and I think they've got a bit more about them than Rotherham. I think Rotherham might still stay up this season, but I just think they've got a very tough run to the end here and it might be close, but I think Hull City will win this game. I think Estupinan will probably get on the score sheet. I'm going to go Hull City 2-1.
Yeah, I think if any team's going to win it for me, it's going to be Hull, but I see it being a low-scoring game. I'm actually going to back a 0-0 stalemate, though. I think it's going to be an entertaining one that Hull will be really frustrated by, but I just see a draw playing out, so 0-0.
Okay, yeah, could happen. Okay, on we go to Carrow Road. This game is massive. It's 7th versus 2nd. It's Norwich City versus Sheffield United. I've got to say, massive congratulations. Sheffield United, Championship side, are in the FA Cup semi-finals. That is fantastic. But they've got to play Manchester City. All eyes are on the Championship, though. I mean, surely they'd go out the FA Cup 10-0 if they could just wrap up second place.
Yeah, go on.
And this is tricky. I know Norwich haven't been perfect, but they're still a very good team. And I think Sheffield United going away to Norwich and win is going to be difficult. But I think they might do it. I think Sheffield United have really got to just go for every game and try and win every game as well, because they know Middlesbrough are right on their tails. I think Sheffield United will snatch this 2-1.
Yeah, I think most people are going to back Sheffield United here, and I get why, because they're doing well. They're rightfully in second place. They are looking back at Middlesbrough, but I don't see them being bottle jobs. Saying that, I think Norwich are capable of just pulling a result out. So I see it happening. A little bit of an upset, I guess, by backing Norwich, kind of. But yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 to the Canaries.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that does put the cat amongst the pigeons in the top 2 race. Next up, we go on to a massive game in the playoff race. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Millwall. West Brom have got a solid chance, you know. They're just behind Coventry and Norwich, 2 points behind us both, but have a game in hand. And their running's quite nice, and if they win this one, they'll have really boosted their chances, because Millwall are now that 6th place team, and Millwall did themselves no favours losing at home to Huddersfield, so they've really got to make up for it by getting a result here, at least a draw. Do you know what? I'm going to go for a West Brom win. I think West Brom being at home, Millwall just a little bit inconsistent. I'm going to go West Brom 1-0.
No, I'm going to back a draw again. I know I'm sitting on the fence quite a lot, but I think Millwall need a point here after, I'm not really going to say throwing away 3 points against Huddersfield, because I think that's a little bit harsh on them, but I think both teams really need the points, and I think that's why it's going to play out as a draw. So 1-1. 1-1.
Okay, the final game is Wigan Athletic versus QPR. It's bottom of the table versus bottom of the form table. They can't both lose. This is a tricky one. Do you know what? It's a big opportunity for QPR here. You know, their form's really not been great, but they just need to get something to stop this run. Wigan haven't been entirely rubbish, but you feel like the 3-point deduction will have really shot them in the foot and pushed them down a little bit more. So I don't see a lot in this. I'm tempted to go for a 0-0, but I might actually go for a QPR 1-0.
Yeah, see, this is difficult, because you've got to think, are the Wigan players really going to put a shift in if they're not being paid? I don't know, but then QPR are in such bad form that I think some Sunday League teams could beat them at this rate. So I am going to back a Wigan win, and I think it's going to be a bit of an upset, but 1-0, low scoring.
1-0 Wigan. Yeah, that game could go either way. Give us your predictions down below, guys. Do make sure, as I say, to hit that like button, and do make sure to subscribe as well. We'll see you tomorrow for some Premier League predictions. Peace out.